There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder.
This past summer, I was given the fantastic opportunity to study abroad in Clermont-Ferrand, France. For my follow-on service project, I wish to document instances of Afro-French history through historical figures, art, museums, and individual persons. Despite being a relatively ethnically diverse country, Afro-French citizens are estimated to be less than 3.5% of the French population, but France has imposed restrictions on the collection of demographic data, thus the exact numbers vary. Despite my motivation to document these occurrences, I found it incredibly difficult to find history pertaining to the Afro-French population in a country that was deeply rooted in Catholicism and European history. Nonetheless, through my experiences and individual research, I was able to gain significant insight into the rich history of the Afro-French population. In the early 1900s, I learned many African Americans desperate to escape racial tensions in the United States and other parts of the world fled to France and claimed citizenship. Among these people included the likes of acclaimed writer James Baldwin and author Richard Wright. While in France, Baldwin finished the works of Go Tell It on the Mountain and his collection of Notes of a Native Son, which he described his escape from America. Josephine Baker is another civil rights activist who spoke of her appreciation of Paris and denounced her American citizenship to become a French national. Her legacy is noted throughout the city in the Place Josephine Baker and Le Théâtre des Champs. Through this mass migration of Africans to France, the culture was introduced to jazz, with many of its remnants of history still being present today.
Allez chez les gypsies.
Allez chez les gypsies.
Dans ce petit café.
Dans petit café.
The impact of French African art on the world is undeniable. Black artistry, despite museums primarily presenting works of European art, have found their way into the Musée d'Ap and Musée de Queue Branly, which are institutions dedicated entirely to African contemporary art. Even sites such as the Arc de Triomphe is rooted in the history of African soldiers. Eugene Bullard, who was enlisted in the French Foreign Legion in 1954, became the first ever African-American military pilot. He was invited by the French government to reignite the flame of the tomb of the unknown soldier under the Arc de Triomphe and made a Knight of the French Legion of Honor. Black activism in France today is centered in a movement known as negritude, dating back into the 1930s. The framework was established in an effort to raise awareness of Black consciousness, which is further credited with inspiring the Black is Beautiful movement in the 60s and Afro-Surrealism. The Afro-French culture has also frequently borrowed ideologies from African American movements such as the Harlem Renaissance, with many of the writers, such as Langston Hughes, being promoted in schools and led to the creation of a French journal by the name of Review of the Black World to promote these new works. In addition to the rich history and culture that I was fortunate to educate myself on, there were tons of lifelong experiences that were cultivated with amazing people.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.